Hi guys, Sci-Fi Recap here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American drama and fiction movie, called Looks That Kill. The movie starts by showing a teenage boy whose face is wrapped in bandages and uses glasses and a hat to cover his entire head. His name is Max. He is accompanied by his parents to do therapy with Dr. Clement. He says that he has a disorder that lies in his face which is too handsome, so that everyone who sees his face immediately dies, as well as the doctor who helped Max's delivery also died after seeing Max's handsome face. When Max was 2 years old, his family decided to move out of a city that is not inhabited by many people. Dr. Clement doesn't believe Max, instead he thinks that Max is depressed because of his past. A few moments later, the doctor dies after seeing Max's face. Then the police come and ask Max's parents for information, stating that the cause of death from the doctor was due to a heart attack, but the cause is still unknown to them. In the end, Max and his parents are allowed to go home by the police. At night, his parents invite Max's only friend, named Danny, to have dinner together at their house. While eating, his father tells Danny to take him out and find other friends, but he refuses because he doesn't want to kill other people with his face again. After that, Max asks Danny to hit his face with a brick, but Danny initially refuses. Until one time, Max intentionally drops Danny's cell phone, making him angry, so he hits Max in the face using the brick. The next day, Max and his mother go to a hospital to treat his nose due to being hit by Danny last night. There, he meets a woman the same age as him, named Alex, who is waiting in line too. They have time to get acquainted with each other while waiting for their respective cues. When he gets home, Danny suddenly returns to his house to apologize for his action last night by inviting Max to meet another woman named Erica at a restaurant. At the restaurant, Erica firstly thinks that she is going to date Danny, but in fact he only sets her up with Max. After Danny leaves them, a bad guy, Craig, unexpectedly interrupts their date. As Max accidentally drops his drink in front of them, Craig wipes the table using Max's face which is covered in bandages, causing Erica to leave him alone. The next morning, he plans to jump into the river to end his life, but Alex happens to pass by there to prevent him from committing suicide. After that, she asks him to go to a nursing home and they spend time together there. After returning home, Max tells Danny about his experience with Alex. The next day, he decides to wait again for Alex near the bridge. Shortly after, she actually comes there and Max invites her to play together at his house. They tell the truth about each other's ailments, starting with Max telling about the abnormality on his face and Alex telling him that she has a rare cardiovascular disease that makes her allergic to endorphins. Endorphins are hormones that are caused by certain feelings such as sadness or happiness, so that when Alex feels these feelings, it can cause inflammation which causes her heart to swell and the disease gets worse every day. Automatically, she has never felt sad or happy since childhood and that is very sad for her. After the conversation, they decide to go to the cinema together and get drunk. They end up in Max's room and get carried away, almost kissing. However, this is thwarted by the appearance of his parents there. They introduce a woman named Yusen, who is an exchange student. She will stay with them for a few days. One day when they go camping, something happens when Max kisses Alex, which triggers her endorphins, causing her to have an inflamed heart and has to be rushed to the hospital. Luckily she still can be saved. Another day, Alex invites Max to visit one of her friends, Rose, who is dying at the hospital. But the sad feeling for Rose actually makes Alex's condition worse and causes her to have a nosebleed due to the endorphins. Max, who can't bear to see Rose in pain, deliberately removes his bandage to make her die faster using his deadly face. Later, Max is sad because Alex suddenly walks away from him. It turns out that she stays away from him because her illness is getting worse. As an apology, she invites him to a party. That night, she also brings a mask for him and they seem to be happy at the party even though on the other hand, they are suffering because of their respective illnesses. Alex suddenly has another nosebleed at the party but she pretends she wants to go to the toilet. When Max is alone and approached by Danny and his girlfriend, Craig mischievously takes off Max's mask, causing Danny's girlfriend to die. Soon, the police arrest him and the medics take Alex to the hospital. Fortunately, he is only temporarily detained and allowed to go home due to lack of evidence again. He visits Alex straight away, who was already in the hospital. There, she tells her condition where since childhood the doctors estimated that she would survive until the age of 16, but strangely until today at the age of 17, she still survives the disease and it's a miracle for her. In fact, before she met Max, she had never been happy because it is known beforehand that if she feels happy or sad then the disease recurred. With all the suffering she has gone through, she sadly asks him to take off his bandages, so she can die faster without feeling pain anymore. Instead, Max chooses to scold her and leaves her alone. At his house, He desperately hits his face again with a brick. Since then, he never picks up Alex's phone and he meets Danny to ask him for advice. After being given some wise advice obtained from captions on social media, he agrees and goes back to meet Alex at the hospital. She says that she loves him very much and gives Max a few words. Max eventually can't bear to see her dying and he decides to slowly remove his bandage, so that she can die faster without feeling any pain. Surprisingly, his deadly face doesn't work on Alex and instead she instantaneously dies from the illness she has been suffering from all this time. After Alex's death, he continues his therapy and the case of Danny's girlfriend's death is closed because she died of an overdose. Besides then, he becomes an angel of death, granting euthanasia to all who request it. It can be concluded that these people die not because they see Max's deadly face, but because of a lack of sincerity and perfection of love. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.